All right, let's jump right in. We're going to unpack a really wild and fascinating theory today. It's one that tries to connect some of the most advanced tech we have with one of the world's most ancient scriptures. It's this whole framework that pulls together ethics, history, and, get this, a pretty startling mathematical claim into what it calls a theory of everything.
It really all kicks off with a question that I think a lot of us are feeling right now. It seems like our tech is moving at light speed. But is our wisdom keeping up? I mean, we've got AI that can paint a masterpiece, biotech that can literally edit our DNA, but there's this feeling, right? This nagging sense that we've got the how, but maybe we're losing the why.
And this kind of lays out that tension perfectly. Over here, you've got this incredible, just explosive progress. AI, biotech, you name it. But for every single leap forward, it seems like we get a new set of really tough questions. Is that AI biased? Where are the ethical lines with this new biotech? And with all this connection, are we finding any deeper meaning or just more noise? So what do? How do we find our way? Well, the material we're digging into today puts forward this really unique idea it calls the divine technology framework. And the big idea is this: stop thinking about technology and faith like they're in two different worlds. Instead, what if they're actually part of the same thing? Now, when you hear divine technology, don't think about building, religious apps or something. That's not it at all. According to this theory, it's a total shift in how we look at things. It argues that the tech we build, all of it, should have a spiritual and ethical core. It's not just for making our lives easier, it's supposed to be a tool for being responsible caretakers of the world.
Okay, but how do you measure that, right? How do you grade technology on a spiritual scale? Well, the framework uses a classical Islamic system of ethics. The main idea is that any new piece of tech, doesn't matter if it's an algorithm or a gene splicing tool, it should be checked against these five main goals you see here. Does it help preserve faith, life, our minds, our families, our property? It's like an ethical checklist.
But the theory doesn't just hang out in the world of ideas. It actually points to history, claiming there's this repeating pattern, a cycle of innovation and, well, correction. It calls this the prophetic tech cycle. And the argument is that you can see this pattern pop up again and again in sacred history. Let's see what that looks like. So the cycle has three parts. Phase 1 is creation. Think Adam. This is where the basic ethical rules and knowledge are laid down. Then comes Phase 2, development. This is where that knowledge gets organized into things like writing, math, science, the stuff you need to build complex societies. But then comes the really critical part, the reset. The theory says that when technology gets misused, when it leads to arrogance, a huge civilizational reset happens. Think Noah's flood. Only the essential good tech gets saved, and the cycle starts over. And this is where the theory takes a pretty wild turn. It suggests that this whole framework, the ethics, the history, all of it, isn't just a nice idea. It claims it's actually encoded, almost like a hidden signature, right into the mathematical structure of the Quran. And the key, according to this theory, is hidden in a super short chapter of the Quran called Surah al-Asr. To give you a sense of how important this little chapter is, look at this quote from a giant of Islamic scholarship, Imam al-Shafi'i. He basically said that if this was the only chapter ever revealed, it would have been enough. That's how much wisdom he felt was packed into it. We're talking about chapter 103, and it is incredibly brief. I mean, it's only 3 verses long. The whole thing is just 14 Arabic words. But the theory says we need to look closer, specifically at the number of words in each of those 3 verses.
Okay, so let's count them up. The very first verse has just one single word.
Then you move to the second verse and you've got 4 words. And the third and final verse has 9 words. So you've got this sequence, 1, 4, 9. And yep, you add them up, 1 plus 4 plus 9, and you get 14, the total word count for the chapter. Seems simple, right? Well, the theory says, hold on, that sequence is anything but an accident. So the theory argues that this pattern, 1, 4, 9, isn't just a word count, it's a key. Now, what's the very next chapter in the Quran? It's chapter 104. And what was the number of words in that last verse we just counted? 9. The theory claims you put them together and you get a coordinate, 104.9, a hidden pointer in the text. So this 1049 is interpreted as a coordinate, chapter 10, verse 9. And here's the kicker. The claim is that chapter 103 gives you the formula for how to succeed in life, and this coordinate, 1049, points you directly to the verse in the next chapter that describes the ultimate consequence of failure. It's presented as this perfect built-in link.
So, okay, a historical cycle, a supposed mathematical code. What in the world does that have to do with your iPhone or the AI running your social media feed? Well, this is where it all comes together. The theory suggests we can use this entire framework as a very practical tool, like an ethical audit for the technology we're building right now.
Let's make it real. Take artificial intelligence. The question using this framework isn't just, is it smart, but does this AI help preserve and lift up human intellect, or does it risk making us lazy and obsolete? Or for biotech, it's not just can we do it, but are we doing this to heal and preserve life, or is this just about human arrogance? You see how it totally reframes the conversation?
So, what's the end game here? The ultimate goal of this whole framework is actually pretty profound. It's trying to get us to completely change our relationship with technology, to move away from seeing it just as a tool for power and profit, and to start seeing the act of creating it as an act of service, of stewardship, maybe even an act of worship.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. When we build all this incredible stuff, is it just about us? Is it just a tool for human power, a monument to how clever we are? Or could it be something more? Could it be a bridge that connects what we do here on Earth to a much higher divine purpose? Definitely something to think about.